Hello everyone, Prime here. I hope you've had a great day. Today we're going to be covering Zeus and Odin to decide who would win in a fight to the death. And starting things off, we're going to go with Zeus. He earned his freedom and status through the castration of his father, the Titan Cronus, who consumed all of his brothers and sisters, with the exception of course, himself. Once he had defeated the Titan, he drew lots with his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, to decide who would reside over which realms of existence. Zeus received the sky, Poseidon the oceans, and Hades the underworld. Hera was one of his sisters who he forcibly charmed and married. Zeus married many beings, and much to Hera's dismay, he also forced himself upon many people. It is through this lust that we discover some more of Zeus's abilities, even though he may have used these abilities for, shall we say, selfish activities. You see, he possessed the ability to shapeshift, and he could transform himself into many different creatures, including swans and other types of birds, as well as different types of humans, men. So this could be quite a useful ability for him to use against the Allfather. But as well as this, his anger was also pretty legendary, as beings such as Iaxon would discover. There was also a giant, this chap, who deeply desired Hera, and let's just say Zeus enacted his Olympian justice upon them. As anger was pretty much well attached to him, his weapon was quite fitting, forged by Cyclopses as a reward for freeing them. He was given a lightning bolt, which he could use to smite down his enemies and defend himself if he was ever attacked. He also carried the Aegis, meaning violent windstorm, and divine shield, among other names. In other myths, including the Aegis, it was not a shield, but an animal skin worn by Zeus himself. The shield also allowed him to summon great darkness and tempests, as well as other weather-controlling effects. In older myths, he also had dominion over the rain, so we'll just include that because why not? He survived having his tendons ripped out by the colossal titan Typhonus, and he eventually did get his tendons reinserted into himself and defeated and slew the titan Typhonus. There are variations as to how exactly he slew the titan, but he has lightning powers, he has super physical strength. There's only so many ways it could be written as to how he actually slew the titan, and the version that I like a lot was that he used 100 lightning bolts and threw them at Typhonus and thus slayed the beast. That sounds pretty metal, I think. Zeus trained the son of Medusa, Pegasus, to carry his lightning bolts. He would also ride Pegasus from time to time. Ymir the frost giant at some point turned evil. It's quite ambiguous as to what exactly he turned evil from, why exactly he turned evil, but it just happened one day, and thanks to this, Odin and his brothers had a reason to slay Ymir. And they did, whilst Ymir slept. A massive torrent of blood swept out of the wound that was created by Odin and his brothers, and Ymir was defeated and fashioned into the earth. Odin has a spear that when thrown will never miss, called Gungnir. Apparently this means swaying one, if Wikipedia is to be believed. His raven companions are Hugin and Munin. They fly around the earth to retrieve new information for Odin, and complete their rounds daily, it seems. Or rather, can complete the rounds about every day, so there's that. Geri and Freki were his wolven companions. At the Well of Mimir, he traded one good eye to the stubborn and slightly selfish Mimir for near infinite knowledge, by drinking from a horn that contained the waters of the Well of Mimir. He also hung himself from the branches of Yggdrasil to receive specific runes containing even more knowledge. So Odin is quite knowledgeable. But in addition to this, he's also a deity of war and knows his way around combat and fighting very well. But these feats also highlight the fact that Odin is not an immortal being and can be slain or defeated. The crackle of thunder ignited the bare earth as Zeus hurled a mighty thunderbolt toward the Allfather, who swiftly turned to one side, narrowly evading the blow. Now empowered, the Allfather clutched Gungnir, throwing with vicious force. The spear struck true, but not mortally, as Zeus recovered slowly from the blow, slamming a bloodied fist against the Aegis. A shroud of old dark was spawned. followed by a blinding storm of rain and lightning. Zeus, now immobilized, discovered the thick fur of a beast wrapped around his knee. His blood soured within the creature's feasting mouth. Without a second to doubt himself, his fist was charged with the most terrifying bolt of lightning that had ever graced his fist. Freki imploded in a surge of lightning and blood as Odin stood beside the king of Olympus, retrieving his weapon. Summoning all the strength that he could muster, Zeus implanted a latching hand onto the ruler of Asgard, which was met with a greeting fist as the Master Bolt found itself thrust through the open socket of Odin. Both gods can survive serious injuries, as proven by their exploits in their different mythologies and stories. Odin not only hung himself from the tree Yggdrasil, but also removed one of his eyes, and I'm not sure how much blood you could expect to lose if you were to just remove your eye, but I'm guessing it's quite a bit. Zeus, on the other hand, had his tendons removed. Again, a lot of blood would probably be missing from your average human's body if that were to happen to them. So, there's that. One maintains his immortality and youthful look through apples, though. The other naturally remains his sort of middle-aged aesthetic. One is fated to meet his end at Ragnarok, whilst the other can apparently be slain should a person possess obsidian. So the question here is whether or not Odin could be killed by Zeus, or would he be protected by his fated end at Ragnarok through the jaws of Fenrir. Because of that, I can't really decide a victor, because I don't think that in a fair match, the ability to possess obsidian would matter all that much. If the matchup took place on a version of Earth that possessed obsidian that could be accessible, I don't see why Odin could not activate his powers of having so much knowledge of the cosmos and the universe, along with his raven companions, to collect the obsidian and then use that to slay Zeus. However, we're assuming that this is as much of an even field as possible, so I'm not including the obsidian weakness. And as for Odin's weakness and whether or not he can actually be slain by other gods, or whether he's protected by the prophecy of Ragnarok, is questionable because, of course, Norse deities are not immortal. They can very much die. Greek gods, on the other hand, or at least Zeus specifically, doesn't seem to be as susceptible to death. So I suppose it's really dependent on your interpretation of the myth, which myths you truly believe in. So tell me in the comment section below, do you think Odin slays Zeus, or do you think Zeus slays Odin? You decide the outcome of this battle. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, go ahead and leave it a like. You can always still subscribe or leave a comment. I'm not sure when the next Versus video will be, but until the next video, thank you very, very much for watching. I have been Prime, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.